What is up, guys? As you can see, the Void Gauntlet is finally here. It's looking mighty fucking sexy, right? Yum. Alright, so, this is, we got here. It's the Void Gauntlet, boom. But, we're gonna look at the fucking skill tree. I haven't even looked at this yet, so, we're gonna be in for some joy. Alright, so first up, we got Forsaken Pack. 10% damage while 50% mana. Well, below 50% mana, sorry. And then our first ability is Void Blade. Summon a blade of void energy that converts your basic attack to melee. Tap basic attack to perform a quick slash that deals 100% weapon damage, or hold to perform a thrust attack that deals 150% weapon damage. Both attacks inflict disintegrate on successful hits, dealing 5% weapon damage per second and reducing damage absorption by 5% for 8 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times for 15 seconds. Then we got Fortified Blade. Gain Fortify on start, increasing damage absorption by 20% for 5 seconds. Jesus. Vigorous Void. 10% critical damage on Void Blade attacks. Leeching Blade. Successful thrust attacks heal self for 5% weapon damage per disintegrate stack on targets. Scales exclusively with focus. And we got Void Caller. On successful ability hit, gain a stack of Void Essence at 6 stacks. Consume all stacks and gain a 3 meter aura that heals self and friendlies for 30% weapon damage and deals 30% weapon damage per second to enemies within. Healing scales exclusively with focus. 5-second duration, 20-second cooldown. Right? And then we got Keen Humility. 10% critical chance while all abilities are on cooldown. And then our other ability is Petrifying Scream. Unleash a void-infused scream, dealing 100% weapon damage, staggering and inflicting root to enemies 5 meters in front of you, disabling enemies' movement for 2 seconds. And then we got Bone-Chilling Voice. Root duration increased by 1 second on targets below 50% health. Then we got Fortifying Echoes. Gain Fortify for each enemy hit, increasing damage absorption by 10% for 10 seconds per hit. Stacks up to 3 times. Alright, and then we got Empowering Proximity. Gain Empower when casting abilities within 5 meters of an enemy, increasing damage by 10% for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. We got Refreshing Frailty, or whatever the fuck. I don't really know. Don't judge me. 5% cooldown reduction on all abilities when successfully hitting enemies afflicted by 3 or more debuff stacks. Can be from different debuffs. Alright, we got Keen Confidence. 10% plus 10% critical chance while above 50% health. Refreshing Precision. 10 plus 10% cooldown reduction on all abilities on critical hit. We got Efficient Harvest. Harvest Essence health drain is reduced by 50% while below 25% mana. Leeching Agony. On critical hit, gain health equal to 15% of damage done. And then we got Oblivion. Summon a circular rift of void energy at your feet that deals 30% weapon damage per second to enemies and grants power to self and friendlies, increasing damage by 20%. 5 meter radius, 6-second duration. We got Withering Oblivion. Your attacks inflict weaken to targets inside the radius, reducing their damage by 5% for 5 seconds per hit. Stacks up to 3 times. We got Invigorating Oblivion, plus 15 stamina per second for self and friendlies well inside the radius. Alright, so that's the Annihilation side. Now we're going to go to the Decay side. We got Deadly Range, plus 10% on successful ranged heavy attacks against targets more than 8 meters away. And then our first ability on the Decay side is Baleful Tether. Fire a projectile that tethers you to an enemy, weakening it and empowering you by 4% per second, 20% maximum. The tether ends if the target moves beyond 15 meters and it lasts for 10 seconds. We got Tethered Refresh. Successful hits against the tethered target reduce other Void Gauntlet cooldowns by 5%. We got Tethered Focus, plus 100% mana regeneration while the tether is active. Then we got Soul Eater, regain 80% weapon damage as health if the tethered target dies. Scales exclusively with focus. Then we got Radiant Efficiency. Mana costs are reduced by 25% while above 50% mana. Okay. And then we got Leeching Bolts. Healing from range heavy attacks is increased by an additional 30% damage dealt if the target is below 50% health. And we got Mending Evasion. Dodging with full mana heals you for 80% weapon damage. Scales exclusively with focus. 20-second cooldown. Alright, our second ability is Orb of Decay. Fire an unblockable orb that passes through enemies, deals 100% weapon damage, and inflicts Disintegrate, dealing 5% weapon damage per second and reducing damage absorption by 5% for 8 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. At max range, it transforms into a healing orb and returns healing friendlies for 20% weapon damage per second for 5 seconds. Healing scales exclusively with focus. Jesus fucking. That sounds really good. Draining Orb. Gain plus 5% mana per enemy hit by the orb. Okay. Slowing Orb. The orb slows enemies already afflicted by any debuff, reducing their movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. We got Detonating Orb. Press the ability input again to detonate the orb with a 4 meter explosion radius. Depending on the orb's phase, the explosion will either damage enemies for 100% weapon damage and apply a stack of Disintegrate, or healing friendlies for 70% weapon damage. Healing scales exclusively with focus. Alright, for the capstone, we got Glimpse of the Void. Gain a stack of Void Essence per successful hit at 4 max stacks. Your next successful range heavy attack will instantly reset all the Void Gauntlet's cooldowns and remove all stacks. 15-second cooldown. Huh? Okay. Refreshing Harvest. Cooldowns are reduced by 10% per second while performing Harvest Essence. And we got Extended Suffering. Successful range heavy attacks increase the duration of non-crowd control debuffs you have applied by 10%. We got Fervent Thirst. Jeez. Plus 5% per successful ranged light attack against debuffs afflicted by Void Gauntlet and debuffs. Did I read that right? No, I didn't. Alright. Fervent Thirst. Plus 5% mana per successful ranged light attack against targets afflicted by your Void Gauntlet's debuffs. Essence Rupture. Fire a projectile that inflicts Essence Rupture for 10 seconds, healing anyone that hits the target for 20% of the damage done. Does not apply to damage over time. We got Invigorating Rupture. Players additionally receive 15 stamina when hitting an afflicted target. And then our last ability here is Overflowing Essence. Friendlies within 4 meters of the afflicted target are healed for 80% of your weapon damage when the Essence Rupture ends. scales exclusively with focus. Alright. So what I take from that is a lot of these abilities, like the healing ones especially, scale off focus instead of intelligence. But if you look over inside the attributes, the Void Gauntlet's, like, it doesn't scale as much with focus, which is interesting. Unless it does, and I'm just dumb. Does it? I don't think it does. I don't know. It's like all blacked out right here. I guess we'll find out. It might. It might scale more with focus. I'm not really sure. This is blacked out. Oh yeah, no, I don't think it does. I don't think it does. But yeah. So that's very interesting that the abilities scale with focus, but the weapon doesn't really scale with focus that well. But anyways, thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one.